As we age, it can be harder and harder to get good sleep. And the problem is, if you're not sleeping well, your body can't repair or recover. But the good news is it's possible to improve your sleep at any age, and I've got 15 strategies that I'm going to share with you today to help you do just that. My name is Harlow, and I specialize in helping people over the age of 50 to improve their health. And today I'm going to give you my best advice for improving your sleep. Did you know it's actually a myth that older adults need less sleep than younger adults? And 99% of us need between 7 and 9 hours of sleep each night. The problem is it can become more difficult to sleep as we get older. Needing to get up in the night to pee or just generally disturbed sleep is really common. And if you're not sleeping, your body's not repairing, it's not healing. You're certainly not going to be able to regain muscle or strength or get healthier if your sleep is not optimized. So that's why I'm making this video, because it's such an important topic. And the good news is, with these 15 strategies, almost everyone can improve their sleep. Let's dive into them now. If you want to sleep better, the first strategy you must adopt is a consistent bedtime and wake up time. Now, this is probably the number one reason why people struggle to sleep. And what we tend to see, especially in office workers, is that they go to bed on time in the week, and on the weekend they stay up late and they wake up late. And we call this weekend jet lag, because it takes Monday, Tuesday, possibly even Wednesday to get back into a normal pattern, and then the cycle repeats. Now, this can be really harmful to your quality of sleep because your body just simply doesn't know what to expect. The body works really well when your circadian rhythm is stable throughout the week. So here's my advice: set a consistent sleep time and set a consistent wake up time, and even stick to it on weekends. It could make a massive difference to your health. If you're one of the many people who struggles to get up in the morning, for the first 2 or 3 mornings you're doing this, just force yourself up. I promise it gets a lot easier with practice as your body starts to reset its rhythm. The second strategy to help you improve your sleep is to follow the 3-2-1 principle. And the 3-2-1 principle basically means no food within 3 hours of bedtime, no fluids within 2 hours, and no screens within 1 hour of bedtime. Let me explain why each of these is really important. When we eat food, especially late at night, that food can almost sit on your stomach, and digestion is a process that requires the heart rate to increase. It basically ramps up the body's systems, exactly the opposite of what we want when we're trying to settle everything down to go to sleep. So if you eat too close to the time where you fall asleep, your sleep will almost certainly be disturbed and you'll get less deep sleep as a result. The second one, so not having fluids within 2 hours of bed, is an obvious one. The closer you drink before bedtime, the more likely you are to need to get up in the night to pee. If you cap it before 2 hours, then you will be much less likely to need to wake up in the night multiple times than if you keep drinking even water right up until you go to sleep. And the final one is screens. So screens like our mobiles and our laptops and our TVs, they emit blue light. And blue light is not harmful, but what it does do is simulate a sunrise. And the body is very clever. It reacts to the type of light that we're shown. And if your body thinks there's a sunrise, guess what? It thinks it's morning and you should be awake. That's why if you turn a film off and you lie in bed, you're often wide awake and you can't drop off for ages. So limit your screens to 1 hour before bed. By the way, if you're enjoying this video and you're interested in improving your health over 50, I've got a whole module dedicated to maximizing your health inside my lifelong mobility program. If you enjoy my content, you should certainly check it out, and you can do that using the link below this video. The third strategy to improve your sleep is to make sure your room is as dark as possible. Now, there's some compelling research to show that even a small amount of light in your bedroom can interrupt sleep. And light can come in from the outside world, or you can have those tiny little blinking lights in your bedroom, and even those small things can interrupt sleep for many people. So one strategy is to invest in some blackout blinds. And you can get these quite cheaply online, but they make a huge difference because they stop any light from the street lights or even the moon coming into your room and disturbing your sleep. But there's something else you can try as well, and it's something that I personally use and I've used for the last 2.5 years, and it significantly improved my sleep. Let me show you now. It's called a Manta Sleep Mask. And Manta Sleep sponsor this video today, but any of you who've watched my YouTube videos for a while know that I'm very selective with who we allow to sponsor these videos. We've actually not taken a sponsor on in over a year now, but I work with Manta because I truly believe in the product and I genuinely use this thing every single night. So this is a Manta Pro Sleep Mask, and the reason I like it so much is it's light and it's got these cups in the eyes that essentially completely block out any light from coming in. And I am one of the people who's very sensitive to light at nighttime. Even the light on my alarm clock and the tiny sliver of light that seeps in through the size of my blackout blinds is enough to disturb my sleep. So I wear this every night and my sleep has improved dramatically. The other thing is when you go traveling, we travel quite a lot for work. If you get into a hotel room and they don't have blackout blinds or there's a gap in the curtain, that night is going to be disturbed. But if you've got this in your bag, you can completely salvage that night's sleep without having to do anything too fancy. So Manta are offering an exclusive deal for my viewers. There's a discount code in the description box below this video. You can head over to their website and purchase a Manta mask. They've got tons on their website to choose from, but I would recommend this one, the Manta Pro Sleep Mask. It's the one I've used for the last 2.5 years. If you buy it and use it, I sincerely hope it improves your sleep as much as it's improved mine. The fourth tip is to sleep in a cool room. Now, we sleep best when our body temperature is low or dropping, and it's actually the drop in temperature that triggers sleepiness. So if you make your room either 20 degrees centigrade or cooler, or 68 degrees Fahrenheit if you're in the US or cooler, that is better for sleep than if you sleep in a hot room. You could use a fan, you could keep a window open if it's safe, you could even buy a cooling mattress cover as well. I'm not sponsored by any brands, but I use one myself and it really, really helps. The fifth piece of advice is to take a hot bath or a hot shower just before bed. And I know I just said that a cold room is best, so why would a hot bath or a hot shower help? Well, it isn't actually the coldness of the room that helps you sleep, it's the cooling down of your body temperature. And that means that if you warm your body up with a hot bath or a hot shower, and then you get out into a cold room, that cooling down seems to trigger sleepiness. And doing this before bed can help you to get off to sleep faster and sleep deeper. The next strategy I've got for you is to read or meditate before bed. Now, anything that's going to bring your heart rate down as you're trying to settle is going to be great for getting you off to sleep faster and giving you a deeper sleep when you get there. The seventh tip to improve your sleep is to increase your step count throughout the day. Now, have you ever had a day where you did so much activity that you fell into bed and you just fell straight asleep and had the best sleep ever? I know I have. And part of that is doing more physical activity in the day to tire your body out. At night time, you want your mind to be rested, but your body to be exhausted if you want a brilliant sleep. So increasing your step count gradually throughout the day is a brilliant way to do that. Start where you are now, track your walking for a couple of weeks, and try and increase your step count by 10% every couple of weeks for best results. The eighth tip I've got for you is to avoid exercising within 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Exercising raises your body temperature, it raises your heart rate and your blood pressure, and we want things to be moving in the opposite direction when you're winding down to sleep. It can also take quite a long time for those systems to come back to normal, and that can disturb sleep. Try and take your exercise earlier in the day for better sleep. The ninth piece of advice I've got for you is to dim the lights earlier. Now, going from stark bright light to sudden darkness is not a great recipe for good sleep. It's far better to dim the light slowly as the evening goes on, beginning the process about 90 minutes before your desired bedtime. Even better, you can start to use candle light late in the evening because that slow dimming almost simulates a sunset and that triggers sleepiness as well. Now, we spoke about screens earlier, but this is yet another reason why we don't want bright blue light just before bed. So if you must look at your mobile phone or your iPad, put it into night shift mode, which is really, really simple to do, or consider a pair of blue light blocking glasses. The 10th strategy is to stop caffeine at about midday. Now, caffeine, even if you feel you can fall asleep after a coffee, it does interrupt sleep. And you might find that you can sleep through the night, but if you look at your sleep architecture, which is how much of each phase of sleep you had, it will be disturbed. Now, I know personally that if I drink caffeine too late in the day, I get almost zero deep sleep, which you can see on the screen right now from my sleep tracker. The problem with caffeine is it has a long half-life, which means it takes a long time for your body to eliminate it after you've drank it. So a good rule is to cap caffeine at midday. If you can't manage that and you find you have an afternoon slump, at least cap it before 2 p.m. The 11th tip is to consider white noise in your room. If you live somewhere where there's noise outside, either from a road or something going on outside your house, maybe you live in a city, or you just get disturbed really easily, then white noise can sometimes really help. And you can get free white noise apps online that just play a white noise sound. And anecdotally, one of the best sounds to play in your room is actually the sound of a crackling fire. There's some interesting research to show that humans fall into a deeper sleep when there's the sound of a crackling fire, and believe it or not, a dog snoring, which presumably is because of the way we evolved when we started off as Neanderthals. But either way, if you're easily disturbed, sometimes having white noise on can prevent those middle of the night wake-ups. The 12th tip I've got for you is to do a stretching routine just before bed. Now, stretching activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which basically relaxes the whole body, so it's perfect to do just before bed. And the other positive thing about stretching is it prevents nighttime cramps, which are a really common problem for people over age 50. In fact, I've got a video on my channel about stopping nighttime cramps. You can see it in the top corner of the screen now. Now, if you're going to do a stretching program, 5 to 10 minutes just before bed is brilliant. Try and target the whole body, especially the lower half of the body, for best results. The 13th tip I've got for you is to save your carbohydrates for your evening meal. Now, carbohydrates are associated with the production of serotonin, which is a hormone in our body which is associated with sleepiness. And if you save your carbohydrates in your day to your last meal, that can trigger serotonin production later and trigger sleepiness as well. People who just eat fats and proteins late in the day do tend to have more trouble dropping asleep than those who save their carb-heavy meal for later. The 14th tip is to avoid alcohol before bedtime. Now, it might feel like a nightcap helps you to drop off to sleep faster and sleep through the night. But even though you might be sleeping more hours, the quality of that sleep is not going to be the same. Alcohol affects your sleep architecture, which describes the phases of sleep you move throughout the night. And one of those phases is REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement. And if you drink lots of alcohol before bed, your REM sleep is affected. And your REM sleep is when your brain regenerates and recovers from everything that's happened that day. So try and avoid alcohol, even if you feel like it helps your sleep, is probably hurting it. The final tip I've got for you is to get some morning sunlight. Now, this tip is not about what you do at night, but about what you do in the morning. And there's some compelling evidence to show that getting morning sunlight in your eyes, provided it's safe, is a brilliant way to reset your circadian clock. Now, every cell in your body has its own circadian rhythm, and the research shows we can reset that rhythm by exposing ourselves to sunlight early in the day. What this does is wakes us up naturally without caffeine, and then later in the day, as the evening comes, your body says, yeah, we've had a full day, I'm ready to drop off to sleep. So it's a really simple thing to do. 15 minutes in the morning seems to be sufficient to improve your sleep later in the day. Protect your eyes with sunglasses if you need to. Yes, cloud cover does also count, so don't worry if you live in the UK like me and you don't get very much sun. Just get outside and experience the daylight. Anyway, I hope that's been helpful. If it has, please do drop a comment below. There's a video on the screen right now that shows you a stretching program that will help you to get off to sleep. So click on that now if you're interested, and I'll see you again on the next one.